Welcome back, fellow travelers. I want to talk to you today about how you can fly for cheap or even free. It does involve a bit of risk, so let's jump right in. So it's no secret that airlines like to oversell their flights. They do this to maximize revenue for each departure and ensure that each seat has a butt in it so that they can actually make money off of their flights. Because every seat that's empty on a flight is lost money for an airline. But this is where you come in. Now, the airline does assume some risk when they do this, but it's a necessity that they need to do in order to turn a profit or even keep the lights on in some cases for certain airlines. So what happens is that when somebody is bumped off a flight, they are compensated, either a voucher or a cash refund based on XYZ factors. It does vary depending on the airline, so it's very important before you undertake what I'm about to propose. You need to look at the rules and you need to look to see if they have any protection measures against what I'm about to suggest. A lot of airlines don't because they assume that people won't do this because there is that inherent risk. But I have seen people do it in the past, and that is essentially booking a flight that you know will be oversold. And obviously there's no intention on you flying on these flights. There's the intention that the flight will be oversold. You'll volunteer to give up your seat, and then you'll be compensated for doing so. Now, this is where the risk comes in, because if, by chance, the airline is able to take off with everybody they have at the gate, then you are stuck. It's something similar to George and Kramer on Seinfeld at JFK Airport, where Kramer baits George into buying a bunch of tickets and to collect the points. And what happens is that he actually buys non-refundable tickets for George, so George has to buy the tickets. He can't refund them. He's stuck all that money invested in some tickets that he had no intention on flying. Thankfully, there are plenty of tickets that are refundable up until about 45 to 30 minutes before departure. Now, again, that varies depending on the airline's rules and regs regarding cancellations. So that's actually something that you need to look into because you don't want to be stuck holding tickets like George. But what happens is that you look at the major flights that always leave full or close to full or even oversold. This happens predominantly in the summer months. Travel to Europe from North America and vice versa is packed. It's very hard to get on certain flights. I'm thinking like London, Paris are the two big ones that a lot of people travel to. Rome is another one. Depending on if you're going through a major hub. This might not work if you are located in a small airport. It does work if you are in major hubs where everybody's funneling through. So think JFK, think Chicago, Atlanta, and in Toronto if you're in Canada. Those are the big ones that really see a lot of passengers funnel through everything. So what happens here? You make your booking, you show up to the airport. It does, as I said, require a bit of time investment for you. You ask for the load about an hour beforehand. Ask if it's oversold. You could do this at the check-in counter. And if it's oversold, perfect. You ask by how much, you get a bit of information. This information generally is shareable. So you make your decision. Is it worth it for me? If you see that, it's oversold by 30 people. Yeah, okay, it's safe for me to go to the gate. Wait a bit, and then after that, go on and then volunteer to be put on the do not fly. You're going to be stranded at your home airport. You're going to get the compensation. What happens though if you do not see that this flight is oversold? Well, then you just make your cancellation. Make sure you make it before the minimum allotment. But you have to have the more expensive fare. So the fares that allow this are the expensive ones. So it also requires a bit of capital investment up front. Is this a bulletproof plan? I wouldn't particularly be able to do it simply because I'm too nervous that would happen. I have seen people do it though. Working at the airport, we saw our regulars during the summer months who used to churn out a huge amount of money that they put towards a flight. Some airlines, as I mentioned, do have a protection measure against this where you can only use if you're getting vouchers. You can only use it here and there. That's why you always opt for cash, but cash generally offers less than the voucher that you would use towards applicable travel. It's one of those things you have to weigh out. Really, where the danger is from the people not showing up. So if they say, we're oversold by 10 people, it's fairly easy for 10 people not to show up because there could be a misconnection where a whole bunch of people, like 20 or 30 people, don't show up to the airport. Then you're going to get yourself into a spot where it's very hard for the person to navigate. Another way of going is that you could always make a cancellation or make a change to a different day on the spot. You'd have to go to the ticket counter at the airport, change it. That, again, requires a bit of capital investment. So what kind of tip is this that requires so much risk? It's not necessarily I'm telling you to do this. I'm telling you that this has happened in the past. I think that the airlines should close these loopholes out because it does make things a bit convoluted. Me speaking about it at least opens people's awareness and eyes to this event that happens. Airlines have started to wisen up, and they put countermeasures into these sorts of things where only a certain number of vouchers can be used towards a certain flight. So you wouldn't be able to use 8 vouchers on one flight and then just get it for free. The airlines do look at this type of data. They do look for unscrupulous activity. So I don't suggest you do it, but I wanted you to know that it's there. It's more like these are the players that do this. And this is why some flights are oversold. Generally speaking, it's not something that I'm repeating myself, that I'm for. I really wouldn't be able to do it. But let me know in the comments what you think about this tactic that people use. Do you think it's worth it? Do you think it's smart? Do you think it's crazy, reckless? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your opinion on it. In the meantime, you can check out another one of my videos right over here. And if you'd like to subscribe, you can do that right here. And it not only helps the channel out, but it allows you to know when we upload new content so you don't miss it. I'd like to thank you for making me a part of your day. And until next time, safe travels.